What's up guys, Peterson Outdoor Films coming back at you with another video. So today is the big day. I am getting my 8-pointer scored, officially scored. It is December 3rd and I shot this world-class 8-pointer on September 20th. I'm excited because I think he's going to score really well for an 8-pointer. Typically 8-pointers don't score well. They don't have a lot of tines. However, he's big, he's wide, and he's about as nice of an 8-pointer as you could probably get. Just so you can see what kind of deer this was, I'll show you a picture. And I followed this deer for 6 weeks on trail cams. He kept showing up, and then the week before I went to hunt, guess what? He was non-existent. So it took me 5 times out in the stand. In fact, I passed 10 different bucks, and then lo and behold, guess who shows up? The 8-pointer that I've been after, and we nicknamed him Titan. Here he is. And I got him. So I'm so thankful that I was able to get him. It was a clean shot. He ran probably 40 yards after the arrow went through him, and it's just a memory that I will never forget. So I'm excited that you guys get to join me on this adventure, and stay tuned because we're getting it scored in just a few minutes.
My name is Mark Miller. I'm a measurer for Boone & Crockett, Pope & Young, Muzzleloader Society, and Wisconsin Buck and Bear Club. Been involved with measuring in some extent since 2005. I live here in Fond du Lac, do most of my measuring right here at my home, and
That's great.
it's kind of an exciting experience for me getting to be part of one of the best days of most people's lives, you know. So
yeah,
that's why I like doing it.
It's exciting for us, and thanks again for having us out. We appreciate it.
No problem. So
today we're going to be scoring this for a net score. Is that correct?
today, well, this was shot. It's after the 60 days drying period, so we can actually measure it for the official score.
Official score.
Now this was shot with a crossbow, correct?
Correct.
So it would be eligible for Boone & Crockett or the Wisconsin Buck and Bear Club.
Okay.
You know, it's not going to make Boone & Crockett, but it definitely is going to be a contender for the Wisconsin Buck and Bear Club record book. So
Fantastic.
that's awesome.
All right,
So
I'm excited.
We'll get to measuring it. The nice thing about this is I get to answer any questions you might have about measuring or anything. And so, any questions while measuring, just feel free.
I'm sure I'll have a few, as this is my first scoreable deer.
Sure, just show them out as we go. But
Sounds good.
right now we're doing the inside spread.
Okay.
And what I'm looking for is the widest point from the middle of the beams on each side, and still staying kind of parallel with the base here. A lot of people will be, some deer will be measured like this and this, and they'll be like, "What are you doing? You're an inch shorter than I was." So I'm like, "Well, yeah, you're a little canted there." So let's kind of use this baby, and we're at 19, 20, 20 and 3. There's another interesting thing you might not know about measuring, but if you come out to the 16th over an eighth, because everything in whitetail is measured in eighths, right?
Okay.
So if you come to this, you look at it, you'd be like, "Well, that's 1, 2, it's just over 2/8 at the next 16th. They actually give you that eighth. So it would actually be 19, 20, and 3/8.
Cool.
Kind of a interesting bit of information there.
Well, I'm not going to complain about that.
No. And that inside spread is the only spread that actually gets counted into the score. The greatest spread, the easiest way to do that is to set it up against the wall like that. Crazy about making sure it's super. So right at 22 is the widest. So how long have you been bow hunting?
Since I could. I think back then it was 14 years old.
12 maybe?
So, was it 12?
It was 12.
Okay, so 18, 21 years.
Is this your biggest to date, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I passed 10 different bucks. As I was just after this one deer. I had him on trail cams, and 5 minutes before I shot him, I was staring at this beautiful 9-pointer, which I think probably would have scored even more than him because he had more tines. But I just had my heart set on this deer, and really it didn't matter, you know, it didn't matter what walked out. I wasn't going to shoot it unless it was this deer. and I had never done that in my life until this year, and it worked out. 5 minutes later, he stepped out, and I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, he got to be kidding me. It's a dream come true. I had him on cameras for 6 weeks, and then I sat 5 times. But here's the thing. A week before I started sitting, he disappeared. Wouldn't show himself. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But they're an elusive animal. All of a sudden, they just show up, you know, when they want to. Well, they're a wild animal. They can do what they want.
Yeah. So now what I'm doing is going around marking my baselines. This is where I'm going to be measuring each tine 2. That's established by just running a steel cable across the top of the beams. That way I'll just be able to establish a line that I know I can measure from the tip down to that line.
Okay, gotcha.
There's a lot of people, for some reason, I'll have come here and they'll say, well, I measure down to the middle of the beam. And that's just not the way it's done, but that's a common little piece.
I was actually wondering how you establish where that tine ends, but
Yep.
that makes sense now.
It'd be just like if we took a saw and we're going to saw it off right at the top of that beam without.
Gotcha.
I go around, just kind of look for the center of that beam or point where it intersects with the beam. Now the other interesting thing is, you know, even like on an 8-pointer, like if this point wasn't here, every deer has 4 circumferences, whether it's a spiker, a forker, a 14-pointer. It's still always going to get 4, one between the crow and the first point, and the first 2, second and third. Now if there was no point here at all, or no swelling, you would measure from this point to the end and go right in the middle of that, and that would be your last circumference.
Okay.
And if like this point wasn't here, this wasn't here, it was just a beam from this point out, you would measure from here out to the end, go right in the middle of that, and that would be your last 2 circumferences would be off right there. So. Another thing I guess that a lot of people don't know about it.
And so because it's there, you can only still measure once though around the main tine, the main beam.
Yep, what I'm doing for each circumference is I'm looking for the smallest point between the 2. So here it's out to that 16th, so it'll be 4 and 2 there. Just keep checking for anything smaller.
Okay.
So 4 and 2. 4 and 2. And the reason why it's the smallest, everyone says, well, why would you do that? You know, that doesn't make any sense that you'd look for the smallest point. Well, the hard part would be, as you get up into the swelling here, and what point do you stop?
Yeah,
you know, or
good
the
point.
swelling there.
Sure.
So I think that's why they did the
Yeah,
smallest.
that makes sense.
This one's one of those that's right on the 16th on a lot of them. It's kind of funny. a lot of inches of horn here.
Well, I'm very blessed to have gotten this deer, I'll tell you that much. It didn't come easy.
Alright. That's over there. Wow, he's got a lot of horn. He's got nice, really long beams.
Mm-hmm. They come way out and around.
23, 24-inch beams, super mass. I mean, 4 5/8, 4 6/8 at the bases. That's
We talked so much about that, didn't we, Jake? I said, that's a top-notch Jake, buddy.
how many years old do you think this guy was?
Well, I think 4.5. I don't know for sure though. Got a picture if you'd like to see him.
Of him, jail camera picture?
Yeah,
Or-
when he was still living.
Oh yeah.
I actually have his bottom jaw as well. I did want to get him professionally aged because we were kind of wondering too, was he actually a little bit older? And I don't know.
I don't know. Check one other thing. Sure. That's right at the line. So there's no way this is going to be longer, but I just want to make sure. No. It's not really big either because it's not going to be longer, I don't think. No, not even close. That's the other kind of interesting thing. Like if your brow tines, like these come and they curve straight back. If they were to come and curve that way, you'd be measuring them around the outside edge of the curve, so you'd be measuring them from the back. With brow tines only, these are coming up and curving back, you might want to measure around the outer edge of the horn. So you're able to take the longer measurement here.
Oh, so on this one you were able to measure in the front?
Yeah,
and this
actually
one
both
was,
of them.
Oh, on both, okay.
Yeah, they both have that curved back.
Oh, okay.
Another little interesting thing. Jeez.
I don't know, what do you think?
It looks like all his weight is all up front in the picture. You know, it's
I've
hard
got-
to tell from one picture.
That's what, the week before bow season, so that's early.
And that was
Yeah.
August 29th.
Like he looks skinny right in front of his rump. Like he's got just a huge chest on
He
him.
did,
Like
and-
maybe he was.
And I have I have a photo of a 9-pointer that was bigger than him, and the body was nothing compared to him. Actually, when I took him to Leroy's, the butcher, but they had to clear out a whole corner of the cooler just for him. They were amazed. They couldn't believe how large
You
his
had that
body
picture
was.
of him hanging in
It
the
was
tree?
like a cow. Oh,
It's just
looked
ridiculous
like a cow.
how long he was.
Wow.
we don't normally hang deer that high up in the
No,
tree.
no, we've hung some nice ones there. I mean,
That's nuts.
He was like a cow.
yeah, he's a nice bug.
Alright. Let's see, we got 4, 20 3/8 inside spread. Let's see, we got the greatest, 23 and 24. He's really symmetrical. He's got an 1 2/8 deductions off his whole rack, which was remarkable.
An
on the
inch
size
and
of-
2/8.
An 1 2/8
Okay.
total. I mean, most deer, a lot of deer will have that, the difference between this tine and this tine.
Okay.
This is his whole rack,
Okay.
beams and everything. That's remarkable. So it's kind of neat. The scoring system's set up to reward symmetry very well for the net score. And that's, the net score, like I said, just determines where they end up in the record book. Gross score, of course, is the number we all like to talk as hunters, because
Sure.
it's the bigger number, and it is what it is. You know, it's the bigger number. And so him, for a gross score, was 144 and an eighth gross. So he ends up at 142 and 7/8 net.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is excellent.
That's a super 8-pointer. You don't see too many like that ever. So
I pursued the right deer.
yeah, you definitely did. That's a buck of a lifetime.
I was talking to my taxidermist, and he was looking at it, and he was saying too how it's so symmetrical. He's going to have a difficult time determining which way to turn the rack
Show the better side.
to show the better side, because
There
they're
isn't
both
one.
really nice sides.
Yeah. This is the fair chase affidavit for the Wisconsin Buck and Bear Club. By signing this, you can read through everything you're agreeing to. It's basically that it was harvested legally. Go ahead and read through that, then you
Okay.
can print. whitetail, signature, and date there.
All right. December 3rd, right?
Yep. That's that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's $15 to put a entry in.
Okay.
The club really doesn't make a whole lot of money on the entries that come in. Most of that cost is used for processing them and putting together record books and stuff. So that's where they end up making, I think, a lot of their money is off of record book sales, and they come up with a magazine every year, and that's starting to get a little more popular. I haven't heard if they've put anything out yet this year, but you'll get a couple of these to take home with you too. Get your $15.
Sweet.
Third biggest ever in Washoe County. If the
For an
bow or
8-pointer.
gun.
If it was a bow,
Or
yeah.
bow or
Congratulations,
bow or
dude.
crossbow.
That's
That's
nice
awesome.
buck, boy.
You'll get from Wisconsin Buckenberry Club. You'll get a certificate exactly like this one. Suitable for framing.
Sweet.
Got and on there they'll have your gross score, net score.
Okay.
So kind of neat.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Is that you got a Open Young right there above it, huh?
Yep. That one ended up going in both books.
Okay.
This was my first deer I shot in like 1994. That
And actually, when I walked in, that's the first one I really looked at.
I was hoping that, my 8-pointer, like I said, he's just as wide as this, actually real similar. I was hoping to put him right here next to him. You don't have those two wide ones with him, with this little turn in, with that one's turn in. This is going to give me a good idea here. It'll look good there with the two together.
I can hold it up if you want to stand back and
That's
look.
alright, I already got my mind made up with it. I called the taxidermist twice already and changed my mind. Because I was going to do, I really like those for some reason.
That's what I'm getting.
Then you put them on those things so you can
Yep.
swivel them. And I like that so much, I put all of them on them so you can swivel them all.
I noticed that. I thought that looks really nice, actually.
Yeah. That's really nice for taking them off to go clean them, or you want to
That's
switch
true.
them around. And so, I don't know. I found a bunch of those on clearance at Fleet Farm for like $7 each or something.
Really?
I bought up every one they had.
Can I ask you to use for a taxidermist?
I go to several different ones. These were done by Dave's Wildlife in Wausau. And then,
I think I've heard of that before.
yeah, he's good. I go to George Pucker now a lot up in Van Dyne. He's done a few. And then there's a guy in Fairwater, Carl Jorgensen. He's done that one and that one down there. So I've been happy with his work. I called him this year and he wasn't taking any. He was having some health problems or something. I got him kind. But yeah, this George Pucker in Van Dyne, I've used him for a while, and I don't know. I've been
He's going
happy.
to JB Taxidermy, the guy that did Adam's buck.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Cool. Well, congrats on your deer. That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Nice
I
meeting
appreciate
you.
it. It's nice meeting you too.
Yeah, we'll see you next year with another one like
Hopefully,
this.
maybe a bear.
Yeah, definitely. Nice meeting you.
Well, he knocked me off the throne, so that's alright.
Well, you can get back at him pretty easy, you know.
Hey guys, we just got the 8-pointer scored, and guess what? He's making the books. 142 and 7/8. Check it out. We had Mark from the Buck and Bear Club score him, and I am just so impressed, so thankful. He's making the books. What a great experience. I've never got to do that before in my life. Mark was a very professional and excellent scorer. I'm very pleased that I chose him to score this deer. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and always make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it, guys. We're going to be rebranding the channel, Peterson Outdoor Films. We've purchased a ton of gear. We're trying to get better at filmmaking. Self-filming is not easy, but stay with us. It's going to get exciting. Till next time.